Welcome to high school baseball. It is the debut of high school baseball on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM, being presented by Parkview Sports Medicine Baseball. And it's a special treat for us. It is not something we have done. Hopefully you enjoy the next hour and 45 minutes. It's game one of a doubleheader here at Homestead High School as Wapahani takes on the Homestead Spartans. I am Brett Rump, and it is my pleasure for the first time, I believe
so, sir,
to ever be joined on a broadcast by the legendary icon that you had following sports in this community for basically 50 years. At 21 Alive, it is Dean Pantazi. Dean, welcome aboard, and glad to have you alongside.
Rump, it's good to be here. This is a great facility, and I can remember when this field was a Wildcat field because my son played on it. But obviously, this is one of the many improvements they've made at Homestead, and this field is really nice. The field has always been great, and Coach Nick Bile is one of those coaches who basically considers his field his lawn. And he takes care of it very, very good.
And it's just impressive what high school baseball has done and how it has advanced. I mean, I played high school baseball. You have followed it for many, many years here in this community. And now all of the specialized training these kids get, the improvement of summer programs. I mean, high school baseball's on a level it perhaps has never been before. And I know even guys that have been through these schools are making a mark in the major leagues, including in the professional ranks, I should say. But Carter Matheson, a recent Homestead grad, is making his mark in the professional ranks as well.
Carter Matheson against Wapahani back in 2021 at Parkview Field, and I was shooting the game. He planted one in the left field seats, opposite field. You could tell there was some talent in that guy.
Yeah, just a tad of talent with him. But that's what these two programs are about. They have been baseball machines. And Heath Dudley, the coach and head coach of Wapahani, and Nick Bile, they've built tremendous programs, and it should be a good one here at Homestead. We're going to take it right up to TINCAPS baseball. They take on the Dayton Dragons today, and we'll join them before they get started in Dayton right after the first game of this doubleheader is over, scheduled for 7 innings. We'll come back. We'll give you starting lineups when we return. You're listening to High School Baseball presented by PSM Baseball on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Welcome back to Homestead High School, Wapahani Raiders and the Homestead Spartans with our debut game on Saturday mornings of high school baseball. And a big thanks to PSM Baseball for being our presenting sponsor. Also have to thank Old Fort Baseball Company and, of course, Midwest Box Breaks for their support of our local high school baseball coverage. Now let's take a look at the starting lineups first for the Wapahani Raiders. They are out of Selma, Indiana, and I'll let you work on finding where that is. There might be a test later, but they're managed by Heath Dudley, their head coach, a 1-1 record so far this year, but that one loss against one of the best teams in the state. This is a very respectable Wapahani team that we're going to get a chance to see today, regardless of their class. They'll lead off with Nate Luce, who will be the starting pitcher today for Wapahani. Batting second, Hayden James is the sophomore shortstop. Quentin James will be the junior behind the plate. Batting cleanup, Brock Zickgraff, a senior center fielder. Batting fifth, Clay Estep, a senior first baseman. Kason Perdue, a sophomore, will be out in right field. Batting seventh, Brant Longfellow, a third baseman, a junior. And batting eighth will be Grayson Acosta, the sophomore left fielder. Batting ninth, Noah Henderson, a senior second baseman. Now the starting lineup for the Homestead Spartans. They'll be decked out in all white uniforms, tops and pants with blue letters and numbers and blue caps on the top of the head. They'll start with Shane Bartwell, a youngster who might be one of those guys that could be an X factor for Homestead this year. He is a center fielder. The sophomore hits in the cleanup or the leadoff spot. Johnny Ankenbrook hitting in the number 2 spot. A senior catcher, Cole Kintz, the senior first baseman, hits third. Luke Nicesonger is a senior shortstop, and he's a heck of a ball player, and we'll talk more about him later. Zane Wurgis is a junior DH. You've got Gray Stockwell, a junior right fielder, in the 6th spot. 7th is Charlie Herr, a sophomore second baseman, with Braylon Schieffel, a third baseman that is a senior, and Will Karshner will bat 9th Karshner out in left field is a senior as well. Well, the teams are on the field, and they've been introduced to the fans that have come out. What is turning into a beautiful Saturday for baseball. We'll go ahead and take another break. We'll have the first pitch when we return. This is high school baseball being presented by PSM Baseball Academy on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. With Dean Pantazi, I am Brett Rump. We're at Homestead High School for our high school baseball Saturday game of the week presented by PSM Baseball. Taking a look at the Homestead defense as they've taken the field. Will Karshner is out in left. In center field, Shane Bardwell. And out in right field, Gray Stockwell. The infield, third to first, Braylon Schieffel, Luke Nysauger, Charlie Herr, and Cole Kentz. Behind the plate, Johnny Ankenbrook. He'll be catching for Evan Anderson, a big right-hander. And I know he's another one of those guys, not necessarily the number 1 or 2 starter, but he's a guy that Nick Byall is counting on this year, Dean.
Well, you're never loaded with enough pitching in high school baseball because they compact the week into like 2 or 3 days, and you got a bunch of games in those days. So you got to really find out who your ace is, place him where he best helps you, and then go with that.
He's a big senior that is committed to go to Olivet Nazarene. And you look at Wapahani, the primary colors, red and black. And they'll have red jerseys with white numbers and black trim, white pants for Wapahani. And it's one of those days where both the JV and the varsity could load the same bus and come to the same complex, because the diamond just outside right field here at Homestead has the JV game going on between these two squads. Well, you hear play ball in the background, so we're ready to go. And Wapahani steps up to plate first with Nate Luce. Senior will be on the mound pitching in the bottom half of this inning. Luce, a right-handed batter against the tall right-hander Evan Anderson, and the first pitch of the ball game is ripped. One hop and snag down at third by Schieffel. Good throw across the diamond, and that's a heck of a defensive play on the very first pitch of the game by Homestead's third baseman Braylon Schieffel.
He got the benefit of a nice hop. It didn't hit the lip. It didn't hit anything. It took that one true hop to him, and he made a nice play on it.
This field probably groomed as well as almost any high school field you're going to see with a natural grass surface. Now stepping in, Hayden James, another right-handed hitter. He buckles the knees on a curveball, drops in for a called strike, 0-1. James, a sophomore shortstop. That one, a breaking ball that stayed inside, evens up the count 1-1.
Didn't break.
Yeah.
That was the problem.
Anderson working out of the windup, delivers the 1-1 pitch, a fastball that nips the black on the outside corner for a called strike, 1-2.
Yeah, the first curve you throw doesn't really work on. You want to get your confidence back, throw the number 1 in there and see what happens.
The 1-2. A hard breaking ball breaks off the plate. Sometimes you see these pitchers and you're not sure if it's the slider or a hard breaking ball, because the great thing about this level is you try to throw your curve at different levels. That curve breaks into the dirt and the counts run full for Hayden James, but you throw that slower curve and loop it in there to try to get ahead in the count. Then you might have the harder curve you bury into the dirt to try to get the strikeout. The payoff pitch. Fastball just outside. Very close. That almost was where that earlier strike was, but it might have been an inch or two further off the plate, and a very borderline pitch goes to Wapahani, and Hayden James reaches with a 1-out walk.
These kids have got some nice weather to play in today, Brett. Saturday morning in the early spring can be a little chilly. Today, not so much. I mean, it's not warm. A wild pitch.
This one goes to the backstop, and it's going to put a runner in scoring position as Hayden James trots down to second base for Wapahani. So with 1 out in the inning, a runner now at second, and a 1-0 count on Quentin James.
Yeah, it's not real warm. It's in the 40s, but it's not galing. I mean, look at how much wind we've had in the last few weeks. We don't have that today. It's nice and pleasant.
No, and the day's getting better as we go. This pitch, a breaking ball in the dirt, blocked nicely by Johnny Ankenbrook behind the plate. That keeps Hayden James out of second base. But now a hitter's count to Quentin James, right-handed hitter at the plate. It's 2-0.
Nice crowd starting to filter in here.
Probably nice that the game time started at 11. A lot of these games are going to start at 10 o'clock on Saturdays. The stretch by Anderson, and he delivers a fastball, and that's called a strike on the outside corner, 2-1, with James looking to take it all the way.
Well, you're going to see that often because a lot of fields do not have lights, and they want to make sure that they get it all in before that light starts to diminish.
And timeout called at the plate. Top of the first inning. Runner at second for Wapahani with 1 out. And a 2-1 count on number 3 hitter Quentin James. Anderson goes to the stretch and the pitch. Another fastball, and he put it right in the same spot. Boy, he's got that fastball pegged on that outside corner. We've seen 3 or 4 of them now here in the first inning. He seems to like his curveball, but he's got command right now of that fastball. Counts even 2-2.
And, if he keeps having command of it and it's working, you keep going to it until they prove they can hit it.
He just keeps spotting it right on that outside corner.
They will make adjustments, too.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Lead off second for James, and the pitch, that one's a hard breaking ball in the dirt. And again, Ankenbrook getting a workout here in the first inning. Did a nice job to drop down and block that, keep it right in front of him, and keep the runner at second base. Another full count, 3-2 on Quentin James. Hayden James, the sophomore, takes the lead off second. Check of the runner, the pitch. That's lined into right field. That's going to be a base hit. Rounding third, James, he's coming home. The throw to the plate is not in time, and Wapahani with a first inning run on an RBI knock on the 3-2 pitch by Quentin James. Nice job of going the opposite way. Dean, we talked about how he was spotting that fastball in the outside corner, and James did a nice job of going with that pitch.
Well, they've seen it often enough. They said, probably the coaching staff said there, that's where he's putting it, guys. Make the adjustment. He did. So Quentin James now at first base. And it brings up cleanup hitter Brock Zickgraf. 1 run across, top of the first inning for Wapahani. Anderson with the stretch, and the pitch is low, ball 1. Even though Anderson fought all the way back to get it full after falling behind James 2-0, you wonder if just having that number of pitches and allowing James to go all the way deep in the count had a bearing on that base hit, because James had a chance to see 5 pitches before the one he drilled for the base hit. There's a fastball called strike against Zickgraf. That'll even up the count 1-1. The stretch and a curveball inside, 2-1. Zickgraf, senior center fielder, cleanup hitter for the Raiders. James, the leadoff first. Anderson, the stretch, the pitch, a fastball, and that time it was about an inch off the plate, and he's behind 3-1. It's a hitter's count for Brock Zickgraf, the cleanup hitter. And at the high school level, the pitch count becomes a very big factor, and he's starting to pile up a few. 3-1, and that's low. It's the second walk of the inning, and it's 3 straight base runners for Wapahani. A walk, a RBI hit after a wild pitch, and now you've got another walk, and there's runners at first and second, 1 out in the inning, and it brings up Clay Estep, the senior first baseman. This is a team that's hitting .520 coming in, Brett. They know how to use the stick. Anderson, a senior right-hander, goes to the stretch, takes a look at second, brings the pitch, a breaking ball that drops low below the knees, ball 1. That was even though it ended up being low, that was the best curveball he's thrown all day. It's one of those curveballs that you're wanting to get with a 2-strike, where you start it in the zone and drop it down. He had him bending his knees on it. Yeah.
behind again with the 1-0, and that is dribbled left side foul down the third base line. Rolls dead about 35 feet from home. That'll even the count up on Estep 1-1. Yeah, you want to talk about just a perfect day. I mean, eventually by this afternoon, when some of the warmer air gets here, it'd just be ideal. Right now, temperatures working their way toward 50 degrees, climbing through the 40s.
But a limp flag makes it a lot more easy to take.
The sun makes it feel warmer, and a lack of wind doesn't hurt it. 1-1 pitch, fastball, catches the outside corner, and that gets Anderson ahead in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I think he's trying to spot that fastball that nips the outside corner a little bit, because he knows if they're not sitting on it, is going to be more effective.
Yeah, it's amazing. He's been within about 3 inches of the exact same spot every fastball. A couple have caught the corners, a couple have missed just off the edge, but everything's been very close. Breaking ball, chopped right side, backhanded by Kintz at first. He'll flip to the pitcher covering, get the out at first base. Runners advance to second and third, but that is the second out here in the top of the first inning. Play goes 3-1.
Kintz made a nice play on that one. He made sure he had the ball in his glove, checked the runner, and he knew they weren't going to try and take 2 bases, and made the play at first.
So now with 2 outs, it's a left-handed stick, Kaysen Purdue against the right-hander, Evan Anderson. 2 runners in scoring position, 1 run already across.
Uh-oh.
And the first pitch, very wide, and it gets off the glove of Ankenbrook, but he scampers over to collect it.
He got enough of it so it didn't go very far away.
Kept the runner at third base, so runners stay at second and third. Got 2 outs, top of the first inning. 1-0 Wapahani. Purdue, a sophomore, waving the bat over his left shoulder, waiting on the offering from Anderson. The pitch, and it's bad handle, shallow left, and it will drop in front of Karshner, the left fielder, and 2 runs are going to score. 2 RBI, 2-out hit. Just kind of bat-handled the opposite way into shallow left by sophomore Kaysen Purdue, and Wapahani leads it 3-0. It's kind of tough as a pitcher. You kind of execute what you want, jamming the hitter, but he's still able to fight it off.
First lefty he's faced. That might have been a key.
Fastball, and that's blown right by Brant Longfellow, a junior third baseman, hitting in the 7th spot. 2 outs. We're in the top of the first inning. 3 runs across. Runner at first. And an 0-1 count. And another fastball right down the chute. In the inning, a couple of walks, couple of hits. And the 0-2 is a fastball just above the chest. Ball and 2 strikes. Defense plays straight away, deep up the middle. And a breaking ball that drops low and inside, and evens up the count.
He really wanted that one.
Yeah. That was the one. He'd shown him all fastballs, and so he was feeling like he had him set up for that breaker, but just didn't get it close enough to bait Longfellow. Fastball, and that just misses.
Had to be low because it looked like it had the plate.
Yeah, that's that fastball he's been pumping on the outside corner, and that time he might have just got it a little bit below the knees. So after 0-2, it's now 3-2 on Longfellow. Runner gets a head start off of first. And the pitch, called strike 3. Throws him at the plate, and that retires the side. But Wapahani does some first inning damage. They get 3 runs on a couple of hits, and they leave 1 runner aboard. After a half of inning, it's Wapahani 3. Homestead coming to bat. It's our high school baseball game of the week, presented by PSM Baseball on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Half inning is in the books in game 1 of 2. We'll be broadcasting the first game, at least up until we have to jump out for TINCAPS baseball. But 3 runs across in the top half of the inning, and now Homestead has to look to respond.
They have to do that, and they also have to be watching that pitch count now, because he threw quite a few in the first inning, and these guys are on a count that after a certain point they have to come out.
Nate Luce, a right-hander on the hill for Wapahani, and the first pitch to Shane Bardwell, a sophomore outfielder, is wide, ball 1. Bardwell, a left-handed hitter, shows bunt, bunts it right back to the pitcher. Easy play for Luce.
Got too much of it.
Yeah, and got it just off to the right side of the dirt circle. And so it wasn't very far to go for Luce, and he was able to take his time and make a fairly routine play. So 1 away, and it brings up catcher Johnny Ankenbrook. Ankenbrook, right-handed hitter against the right-handed thrower Nate Luce, and the first pitch, fastball, and that is fouled out of play on the right side. Luce gets ahead, 0-1. Ankenbrook so far this year, 1 for 7 at the plate.
He's got some power. I saw him put a couple out last year during the regular season, and PFW didn't sign him for no good reason.
Pitch, handcuffed him off the bat handle. It's up in the air, foul ground, and it will drift into the seats. Luce ahead of Ankenbrook, 0-2.
Any foul balls? Thank you.
1 out, bases empty, bottom of the first inning. 3 across already for Wapahani in the top half of the frame. It's Homestead team, a semi-state participant from a year ago.
And that's where I saw Johnny Ankenbrook hit one out at the semi-state at, I believe it was LaPorte.
The 0-2 pitch stays upstairs. 1-2. Cole Kintz waiting in the on-deck circle. Spartans hoping to extend the inning to get their cleanup hitter, Luke Nysonger, a chance here in the first. Breaking ball and a swing and a miss by Ankenbrook. And he strikes out for the second out of the inning.
He was looking fastball.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Now stepping up to the
well,
first baseman, number
that
3.
ball hung a little bit, and if he picked up curveball, he decided to take a full rip. You know, that's the old rules, just make contact, 2 strikes, right? Everything's an opportunity to hit
go
the
tell
wall.
That to 17 and 18-year-olds in the third base dugout.
Yeah, the game's changed, Dean, and it's, you know, you and I were around when the game was a bit different, where, you know, you shortened up, you choked up on the bat, you just punched it with 2 strikes. Now you take those type of swings, and sometimes you come up empty. First pitch to Kintz is a ball, and well, it's a ball and a strike. Evened up, 1-1. Kintz, right-handed batter. Luce works from the windup and the pitch. A fastball just misses the outside corner, and that gives the hitter the advantage, 2-1.
Homestead as a team is hitting 245 compared to Wapahani 520, but Homestead as a team has faced 2 state-ranked teams in their first 2 games.
Yeah, both teams just a couple of games on the ledger. Pitch popped in the air left side, and it will drift out of play.
That's when you hope everybody's paying attention. They're not on their phones and they're not doing something else, because that ball can come back there and it hurts when it hits you.
Make sure the grill master doesn't get hit, whoever's barbecuing the in-between game burgers. The 2-2 pitch. Hard breaking ball slides off the outside corner, and that will run the count full for Cole Kintz. 2 outs, bases empty. We're in the bottom of the first inning. Nysonger on deck. The pitch went off speed and off the bat handle. It's popped up in foul ground behind the plate, and that one hits off of our little press box here.
And they were paying attention below us. Everybody was looking.
Yeah, everybody was looking up.
Very well done.
Once again, please pay attention to any foul balls. They could come.
So we'll see the 3-2 pitch again. Cole Kintz comes into the game 2 for 7 through the first couple of games. And the pitch. Breaking ball, and it stays inside. Luce tried to swing that one right at the hitter and try to break it over the inside corner, but it stayed too tight, and a 2-out walk for Cole Kintz.
And Kintz read it as a curveball and stayed put, knowing if he was going to take one for the team, it wouldn't hurt as much as with a fastball.
Yeah, he got an early read on that. Probably saw what Luce did as the out pitch to the hitter before him, and so he was prepared. So Homestead does have a runner aboard for the cleanup hitter, Luke Nysonger. All around, really good ball player. Fastball, and he swings and misses. It's one of those where he came up and challenged him, and Nysonger came up empty.
You kind of know when a pitcher has walked somebody, you're probably going to see the old number one as he tries to get back on pace.
Try to get ahead. Well, it's 0-1 now. Kent's the leadoff first, and the pitch is a breaking ball that stays high and evens the count up 1-1.
Homestead would like to reply here. That 3 spot in the first inning was not part of the game plan, and so you'd like to get 1 or 2 in here to at least start getting back in it.
Yeah, you really don't want to see Wapahani get a chance to come up and extend that lead without doing some kind of damage. Throw to first. Kent's not that far off the bag. Kent's a senior first baseman, takes his lead off the first base bag. The stretch by Luce, the pitch, fastball outside. 2-1.
Might be a situation where if the Homestead guys can show a little patience, they might find some ways to get on base that way.
Long look in at the signs for Luce. Now a glance over to first before he goes into the set. And the pitch. Breaking ball. Top of the zone. Called strike. 2-2. Tell you, if the Homestead hitters get a read on that curve, Dean, there's a few of them that look like they're hanging high in the strike zone. Luce is going to have to probably make an adjustment. There's a throw to first.
It didn't got far enough.
Yeah, it got off the first baseman's glove, but it stayed on the dirt infield. So Kentz wasn't able to go anywhere.
Now, in all honesty, Brett, they almost got him on that one. He didn't come back. He came back standing.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner at first. Nysonger, the hitter. Luce with the stretch and the pitch. Curveball and a swing and a miss at a slow curve, and a couple of strikeouts in the bottom of the first inning for Nate Luce. And Homestead fails to score. So we've completed 1 inning of play, and it's Wapahani with a 3-0 lead over the Homestead Spartans. Second inning comes up next. This is the high school baseball game of the week, presented by PSM Baseball on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Heading to the second inning here at Homestead High School, Brett Rump with Dean Pantazi. And after 1 inning of play, the visitors from Wapahani with a 3-0 advantage. Really important inning here for Homestead right-hander Evan Anderson.
Got to hold him here because you don't want to get further behind.
Not only do you want to hold him after having a tough first inning, but you want to conserve pitches. You want to go out and pound the strike zone, and he misses on the very first fastball to number 8 hitter Grayson Acosta. The 1-0. That one catches the inside corner on a fastball, evens the count up 1-1. You know, you've got 8 hitters, 8-9 to start it out. Now, if I'm a pitcher, I'm going out there thinking, I got to take care of these first 2 guys. Good fastball, swing and a miss, had him tardy.
Right along the thinking that he may have too, because he's just coming with the heat right now.
He's throwing some gas. Here comes the 1-2 pitch and another fastball, and he blew it right past him.
Until they prove to me that they can hit it,
I think Homestead,
you keep pouring it in,
may have gotten in his ear just a bit, that he might have heard a thing or two about throwing a little more, going more fastballs early in the count, because he's really loved that curveball and he's struggled with his command of it. That time he just pounded it with the fastball. And now it's number 9 hitter Noah Henderson, and he fouls off the first pitch, and he was a little tardy on that one.
He's been able to spot his fastball well too. You know, he takes it inside, he takes it outside. And obviously it's his go-to pitch, but what pitcher, rare is the pitcher where it isn't. But he's right now taking advantage of that, especially with these hitters.
The pitch inside. That'll even things up 1-1 on the senior second baseman for Wapahani. Working quickly. The pitch. Not sure where it missed. Fastball might have been just a tad low.
Had to be.
Not a real tall guy at the plate in Henderson. 2-1. And that time I think he tried to over-adjust and threw the fastball high.
How many times have you seen where the second baseman of a team and a ninth hitter is a kind of a small guy?
Yeah. Got to work his way back. It's a 3-1 count. That fastball catches the outside corner. 3-2. Full count for Henderson.
I know what I'm throwing if I'm him.
I'm just pumping it right in there and say, hit it. Here comes the 3-2. Fastball, swing and a miss. You got it, Dean. A lot of fastballs.
He was behind it, too.
Just challenged him. And so back-to-back strikeouts. That's 3 in a row that Anderson has struck out going back to the last out of the first. So with 2 outs and the base is empty, now you get to the top of the order. But that's kind of mission accomplished. He conserved pitches. He went right after the hitters, even though he did end up 3-2. Oh, and he missed that one badly. It looked like a ball slipped out.
Yeah, it looked like you see when he took his right hand, he said, that didn't feel right.
Yeah. Ball 1 on Nate Luce, who grounded out to third his first time up, hit the ball hard on one hop to Schiefel, the third baseman. This pitch low and away, and
he knows he's back. He knows he's back at the top of the order now, but he's still throwing the fastball, but he's trying to spot it a little bit more to the outside.
2-0 pitch, and that's grounded to third. Schiefel with the scoop and the throw. Good on-target throw by Schiefel to Kentz, and that retires the side. Good 1-2-3 inning for Spartan right-hander Evan Anderson. We'll head to the bottom of the second with Wapahani still in front 3-0 over Homestead on our high school baseball game of the week, presented by Parkview Sports Medicine and PSM Baseball on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Heading to the bottom of the second inning here at Homestead High School with Wapahani leading at 3-0 in our debut edition of the high school baseball game of the week, presented by PSM Baseball. I am Brett Rump with Dean Pantazi. Homestead comes to bat in the bottom of the second with hitters 5, 6, and 7 facing Wapahani starter Nate Luce. And the first batter to step in, Zane Wurgis, a right-handed hitter, a junior DH, hitting .500 through the first couple of games. He's 2 for 4. Luce gets the sign. And the first pitch at the bottom of the second is a fastball outside, ball 1. Well, for Homestead, it'll be interesting, Dean, to see how many pitchers they use today. They may try to get every bit of the pitch count they can out of their pitchers they send out there, because Monday they got a big one against Fishers, and they want to be fully loaded and ready for the Tigers on Monday night.
Whoever tries out as their ace, that's who they're trying to put there for Monday.
Curveball outside. It just missed the outside edge, and it's 2-0 with Wurgis, a very disciplined, patient at bat. The 2-0 fastball that catches the outside corner and makes it 2-1.
You know, they don't list how many walks he's taken, but he's only got 4 official at bats. That tells me he's had a lot of unofficial at bats, which means he's probably walked a bit.
The 2-1. Down and out, 3-1. We're just trying to get something started for Homestead. Luce gets the sign and goes to the windup. Curveball, and again pulls the string on that curve, and we're just a little bit ahead of it, tipped it, goes straight back into the screen behind home, and it evens things up. Well, it goes full now, 3-2.
Now you see what the discipline is.
The payoff pitch, curveball, chop foul.
One of the notes that Nick Weil put in his preseason notes on the team, they need to hit better. He has a little bit of a concern there that the offense might not be as strong as in past years. They're not hitting that well in the first few games, but maybe it'll come around. It's early.
Another shot at the payoff pitch, and that is fouled back into the screen. Tried to challenge him. We're just got a piece. Stays alive. Good battle here to start the bottom of the second inning.
Be interesting to see what he tries to serve him up here.
Yeah, he's shown him a curve and a fastball here on the 3-2, and for the third time comes, and this time he goes back to the curve, and again it's chopped foul over toward the on-deck circle. Well, Wurgis has seen pretty much everything that Luce can offer him. The ninth pitch of the at-bat, another breaking ball, and that is lined over second baseman Noah Henderson into center field for a base hit.
Yes, right.
Good at bat, really good at bat. The pitcher's pitches were just battled off. Then he got one that stayed a little up in the zone, and he just lined it. And a leadoff man aboard for the Spartans, trying to get on the board here. They trail it 3-0, bottom of the second inning, and it's junior right fielder Gray Stockwell. Spartans had a base runner in the bottom of the first, reached by a walk. That's their first hit. Stockwell steps into the right-handed batter's box against the right-handed hurler Nate Luce. Throw to first and dive back by Wurgis. For those of you that might be curious, we will break away from this game in time to get you to TINCAPS Baseball. We are not going to preempt TINCAPS Baseball. Here's the pitch, and that's a fastball on the outside corner for a called strike. Wurgis the leadoff first, Luce the stretch, and the 0-1. Chopped up the middle. This could be two. Shortstop Naden James steps on the bag as he fields it, throws to first, double play. And just like that, 2 outs here in the bottom of the second inning and nobody aboard with Charlie Herr due up. Just tailor-made, a chopper where the shortstop basically fielded it on a third or fourth bounce right up the middle of the diamond, right at second base.
Basically was standing on second when he took the ball. And he made a good throw.
It goes as a 6-3 double play, and Herr steps in, fastball, swung on and missed, strike one. Wapahani with 3 first-inning runs, leading at 3-0. Spartans batting, bottom of the second, 2 outs and a swing and a miss. He waved at a curveball, and Herr is behind 0-2. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. A 3-pitch strikeout that will put away the Spartans here in the bottom of the second. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left on base. We'll go to the third with Wapahani leading at 3-0 over the Homestead Spartans on your high school baseball game of the week, presented by PSM Baseball on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Heading to the third here at a beautiful day at Homestead High School. Wapahani Raiders will have hitters 2, 3, and 4 to face Evan Anderson, and his first pitch lined and snagged by second baseman Charlie Herr on a backhand, cutting it off before it got into center field. Nice job, and Hayden James quickly retired on 1 pitch.
Sort of like a change-up hit. It looked like it came off the bat pretty well and then kind of looped in, and he was able to make the play. And it came back to him nicely. That was in his favor.
Yeah, it looked like it might have been off the end of the bat slightly and just kind of deadened it. This one hit hard, backhanded, right in fair territory by third baseman Braylon Schieffel. Long throw across the diamond, and it is not in time. Boy, nothing that Schieffel could do with that one, anything other than what he did. Extended with the backhand. He was able to field it as he crossed into foul territory, and then that long throw from corner to corner. Just not in time, and 1 out. Quentin James is aboard. Brings up Brock Zickraft, cleanup hitter, batting for the second time. Fastball low and away, ball 1. Zickraft with a walk and eventually scored the third of the 3 runs Wapahani put up in the top of the first inning. The 1-0. That's low. 2-0. Time called at first base. Looks like James has some work with the shoelaces to do down there. He's the one-out base runner for Wapahani.
Use a double play ball here. Really could use it. Put these guys away and get back up there and try and do something with the sticks.
Stretch by Anderson. Cleanup hitter Zickraft swings and misses. And a throw to first. Almost got him. Dives back under the tag, and they just about had James creeping too far off first. Nice alert throw by Ankenbrook, the Homestead catcher.
And a nice changeup thrown there as well by Anderson. First time I've seen it. I don't think he's used it before.
2 balls, 1 strike. And the pitch. That's fastball tap back to the mound. Could be 2. Set short for 1. Throw to first. Not in time as Zickraft is able to beat it out, and the throw gets past first baseman Cole Kintz and ends up out of play. So that will allow Zickraft to head down to second base. And all things considered, it's almost like having a sacrifice at the plate. You end up with the same situation with a runner at second, now 2 outs.
Well, he had to hurry the throw, and that's a tough thing to do.
Got the lead runner, but then the error by shortstop Luke Nysonger on a throw that took 1 hop to Kintz and got past him, went out of play. So it goes as a fielder's choice and an error. And you've got a runner in scoring position with 2 outs, and Clay Estep grounded out. First base to the pitcher, his first time up. And the pitch, fastball at the knees on the inside corner, 0-1. Zickraft takes the lead off second, and the pitch. And that one is foul. Chopped at the plate, and it will make it an 0-2 count on Estep. Senior first baseman for the Raiders, looking to add to a 3-0 lead, batting top of the third. 2 outs. Zickraft takes the lead off second, and the pitch. And that is lined, and 1 hopped out at second by her. What a snare. The throw to first in time. And that ends the Wapahani third inning. Heck of a play out there by Charlie Hurt second.
Well, whoever takes care of the infield at Homestead did a big favor to him because he got a nice true hop, and that's not always the case when you get a 1 hop off the skin of the infield.
Yep, almost a short hop, and he snared it and ends the inning. So for Wapahani in the third, no runs, a hit, and a runner left. We go to the bottom of the third with Wapahani leading at 3-0 on the high school baseball game of the week, presented by PSM Baseball on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Spartans trying to find their offense as they come to bat in the bottom of the third inning. They'll have hitters 8, 9, and 1 to face Nate Luce, who so far has put up a couple of zeros through the first 2 minutes.
I've seen a lot of rallies started with the tail end of the batting order, so maybe Homestead makes that work for them today.
It is Braylon Schieffel, third baseman, takes a curveball for a strike, 0-1. You wonder, Homestead had a couple of good defensive plays in the top half of the inning. Can they ride their defensive momentum to help with them offensively?
And those defensive plays helped Anderson keep his pitch count, though. He's reined it in now. He's at 50, which for 3 innings is not bad.
Curveball, they appealed. No swing, 1-1. This pitch fouled out of play, right side.
Well, there was a guy walking right by there, and he wasn't looking. He looked up, he heard the clack, and all of a sudden could hear some people going, "Oh, might be talking about me."
The 1-2 pitch is a fastball that misses the outer edge, evens it up 2-2 for asked for time. Wapahani with all their runs, top of the first inning, leading at 3-0. Curveball grounded up the middle. A diving play by Henderson stops it.
That's a
but
hit.
He has no chance at a throw. Yeah, all he did was just kept it in the infield. But that is a leadoff single, and for the second inning in a row, the Spartans have their leadoff man aboard. Well, you said it, Dean.
Who knows?
Many times, you've seen a lot of baseball, many times it's the bottom of the order that gives the top the spark when they can make something happen. And number 8 hitter with an infield hit, and now you've got Will Karshner hitting in the 9 spot. Karshner 2 for 4 so far statistically this year. And he'll take time before he even sees a pitch and look down at Nick Byall, who's in the third base coaching box.
Well, and Wapahani's third baseman is thinking the same thing. The 9 hitter, you might see a bunt here.
And a check swing on a fastball that misses high and outside, ball 1.
He's not playing deeply. I mean, he's in the
he's in that in-between zone. He won't back up, but he won't come in on the grass. So
now that opens up the left side of the infield to a nice big hole.
That's part of having a 3-0 score. You're not real sure with Homestead sacrifice needing a bigger inning. And there's a ball ripped into left field through the 5.5 hole. That is a base hit, and it's back-to-back hits by the last 2 batters in the Homestead order.
And he put that right where that hole was. Not that the shortstop was going to get it anyway, but the hole was wider because they had pinched the third baseman in.
So it's a table set for the top of the order. Spartans trailing at 3-0. Batting bottom of the third. A game set to go 7 innings. First of 2 here at Homestead. We bring you the first game. And we'll take you right up until TINCAPS baseball. Top of the order means Shane Bardwell bats for the second time. Tried to bunt his way aboard his first time up and bunted it right back to the pitcher. Great situation to be in. Now you do have a first baseman who's going to come in after seeing the bunt from Bardwell with the bases empty starting the bottom of the first. They want to come in and take away that option. And the first pitch to Bardwell is a curveball that stays outside, ball 1.
Very hard for a left-handed batter to get it down the third base line, but if Bardwell was able to do that, he could walk to first base.
Yeah, third baseman Brant Longfellow doesn't want to give up his spot because with runners at first and second, he feels like he's got to be the guy to cover third. Here's the pitch, and that's a curveball that breaks over the outside corner and evens things up 1-1 on Homestead's leadoff hitter. Bardwell, sophomore center fielder.
You also want to keep your third baseman close to third because the guy at second might take off.
Stretch and the pitch, and that is a bat handle. One hopper to third, taken by Longfellow. Steps on the bag for 1. The throw will cross the diamond, not in time.
He made that a lot closer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, to get a speedy Bardwell, but that was just a jam job on Bardwell. He muscled it off the bat handle, and it just took a soft hop, 1 bouncer to Longfellow at third.
Number 4,
and he retires the lead runner in that situation. So it's still first and second. Now there's 1 out for Johnny Ankenbrook.
A lot of ways to score a guy from third. If you can get him over there.
And they'll throw to second. They tried to do the high leg.
They got him leaning the wrong way, too.
Snuck the shortstop behind Karshner.
I was wondering, because he did go in standing, if they were going to get him, because they did catch Karshner going the wrong way. They're sneaking behind him again.
Stretch, a look at second, and the pitch, a breaking ball. It hangs up in the air, and it's too high for ball 1. Ankenbrook, a strikeout victim, his first time up.
Ankenbrook is a guy who can pull the ball. And if they continue to cheat towards second base on the pickoff play, that's another big wide hole on the left side.
Yeah, the shortstop, Hayden James, way over toward the second base bag. And inside-out swing, he hit it fairly hard to right, but it hangs in the air long enough for Kaysen Purdue. He'll tag at second, head to third. So it goes as a sacrifice fly for Ankenbrook,
who has the power I talked about. I mean, he didn't get all of that, but he got it to the track.
And so an opposite field fly ball that gets the runner down to third base. Now the Spartans with 2 outs trying to avoid wasting a real good opportunity here after hitters 8 and 9 reach base. You've got a fielder's choice, a sacrifice fly, runners on the corners for Cole Kintz. Walked his first time up officially on the year. He is 2 for 7. And that pitch fouled at the plate. And Bartwell was off and running with that first and third situation.
The shortstop, Hayden James, is really fond of cheating towards second base, and if they can get a pulled ball to the left side of the infield again, the Spartans are going to have a run.
Yeah, a ton of room in that 5.5 hole on the left side of the infield. And Bardwell's off and running. They go pitch out. Here's the throw to second, and they got him.
Great throw.
Wapahani guessed right. They called the pitch out, and James with a dart down to James. The brother combination on both ends of that put out on the stolen base attempt by Shane Bardwell, and the Spartans failed to score here in the bottom of the third after getting the first 2 aboard. So let's head to the fourth. It's still a 3-0 Wapahani lead over the Homestead Spartans on the high school baseball game of the week, presented by PSM Baseball on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Spartans go to their bullpen. Mason Gutman, the new pitcher for Homestead, as we head to the top of the fourth inning with Wapahani leading at 3-0.
Early in the season, this isn't uncalled for. You know, the pitchers, they haven't stretched themselves out yet, so it's not surprising that they kept it at 50 pitches.
Well, you have to remember that Homestead hasn't played for over a week. Of course, it's been kind of cold over the last week at the Spartans start
and spring
early.
break factors in there, too.
Yeah, and so you want to make sure as many arms get a chance to get out there and get loose. You just don't want the ones out there or be forced to use ones that you want to have for Monday when they take on Fishers. But this Wapahani team is one you don't want to take lightly. And Wapahani jumped out, got 3 runs in the top half of the first inning, and they've made it hold up so far. Still 3-0. And Kaysen Purdue, a left-handed stick against the southpaw Mason Gutman. I'm not sure if that was planned or just a coincidence, but it's lefty-lefty, and there's a good sweeper, and Purdue almost looks silly waving at that one. A ball and 2 strikes.
You wonder how many lefties they get to see at their level.
Yeah.
It might not be used to the left-handed batter.
That pitch is high. Evens the count 2-2. Purdue had a base hit his first time up. In fact, he had a huge 2-out, 2 RBI single. Ooh, that did not miss that outside corner by much. It's gone the distance for Purdue. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and the pitch. Fouled out of play.
You know, Wapahani is a program that's got a lot of success. They are a 2A team. This is a program that's won 21 sectionals. 8 regionals. So they know how to do things with the sticks and the gloves.
Yeah, baseball, they truly got a program. Good off-speed pitch on the 3-2, and he got a wave out of Kaysen Purdue for strike 3.
Don't think Purdue sees a lot of lefties. He hit that way.
No, and he probably doesn't see a lot of 3-2 curveballs from the lefties he does see, because he looked a little silly waving at that one.
Well, part of his education. He's going back. He's going to think about that for a while.
So 1 out, base is empty for Brant Longfellow. He bats from the right side against the southpaw, and the first pitch is in the dirt for ball 1. Longfellow struck out looking, but that was against Homestead starter Evan Anderson. 50 pitches over the first 3 innings for Anderson, and that was his day. Second pitch is high and outside. It's 2-0 on Longfellow. Gutman works quickly, and a fastball just catches the outside corner and makes it a 2-1 count.
Got a break there. Just a tad.
Good job of framing it by Ankenbrook is all I'll say. That one on the other corner. Corner to corner. 2-2. The windup and the pitch. And a swing and a miss. Comes back from a 2-0 count, and for the second time, Longfellow a strikeout victim. There's two outs, nobody on.
You begin to think he was looking outside because he seemed to be set up to go outside and go get that pitch, and when he got Jam City, that's what he did with it.
Buckled him up, and with two outs and nobody on, it's number 8 hitter Grayson Acosta. Fastball for a strike. If you remember, back in the second, Acosta saw a steady diet of fastballs and eventually struck out. Breaking ball that time.
He's got about 2 or 3 or 4 pitches he can call on here.
Got a swing and he has
command
a miss.
Of all of them.
Yeah, got a swing and a miss at a pitch that dropped into the dirt. Now he's way ahead of Acosta. The 0-2, high and tight, back him off the plate. Now he can pump that fastball in the outside corner and sit him down.
My guess is he's going to breaking ball this one. I think he set him up for the inside pitch with the fastball there.
1 ball, 2 strikes, and a swing and a miss.
It was a changeup. It wasn't a breaking ball.
Yeah, I think it was the changeup away. Another good pitch and a good inning by Mason Gutman out of the Spartans bullpen. 1-2-3, strikes out the side, and we go to the bottom of the fourth. We're halfway through the first game of this doubleheader here at Homestead. Wapahani, a 3-0 lead over the Spartans on the high school baseball game of the week, presented by PSM Baseball on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Bottom of the fourth here at Homestead, and the Spartans trail the Wapahani Raiders 3-0. Brett Rump with Dean Pantazi, Adam Lundy, our studio producer, and the Spartans come to bat with hitters 4, 5, and 6. Luke Nysonger starts it off. And a pitch in the dirt for ball 1.
You're in the meat of the order now. This is where something's got to happen.
Spartans have had base runners every inning. In fact, the last 2 innings, they had their leadoff man aboard. But still, nothing across the plate.
The meat of the order sets the table for those 8 and 9 hitters. They seem to know what they were doing.
You like that bottom of the order. 2 balls, no strikes. Right-handed hitter waiting for the offering from the right-handed hurler. And that is ripped toward left, and it drops in front of Acosta out in left field. And it's the 3rd straight inning that the Spartans leadoff man has gotten a base hit to reach base. This time it's Nysonger. Probably the hardest hit ball for the Spartans so far today.
I was afraid for the Spartans that it might hang up so that he could pick it off in left field, but
almost
it
hit too hard. It was like you wanted it to drop in front of the left fielder, but he hit it so hard you thought it might carry to him.
I got to wonder how much his pitch count is beginning to affect him.
Also for the Spartans getting the second look, this ball hit hard and deep to left field. Wurgis hit it off the wall. Rounding second, heading to third. It is Nysonger, and it is a double into the left field corner off the base of the wall by Zane Wurgis, and the Spartans with 2 in scoring position.
You're 1 batter ahead of yourself. Nysonger made that.
Oh, got to correct myself. I'm a batter off. That was Nysonger with the double. Hintz led off the inning with the rip into left. Now I'm caught up. And so it was Kintz with a single. Nysonger gets the double in the corner.
I thought it was gone.
And yeah, I did too. But there's a little bit of a breeze, and when we do see it, it's coming in from left. We haven't seen a lot of it.
Well, I'm looking at pretty limp flags.
Well, but the thing is, I think as you elevate, get a ball in the air, it's a little more breeze. But the first pitch to Wurgis, who is now the batter, is ball 1.
Would a base hit here be huge?
Curved ball, and he just taps it right side of the infield. Runner's going to come in to score. His first baseman, Clay Estep, takes care of it himself with the short distance to first. But both runners advance, and Homestead gets on the board with a infield ground out by Zane Wurgis.
It almost looked like the way that Wapahani played that one. They had the infield back. It looked like to me they were conceding the run and getting the out.
Yeah, they're trying to limit the damage here. They would give up one to try to stop two from scoring, but now Homestead has the runner at third. Nysonger down there, 90 feet away, and it brings up Gray Stockwell. Stockwell, right-handed hitter.
He waved at a change-up there.
First pitch, a swing and a miss. 0-1.
A lot of ways to score from third, Brett.
Luce will work from the stretch, and a curveball drops in the dirt. That'll even the count up 1-1 on Stockwell. And again, that defense, Dean, you mentioned it before, they're playing deep again. They're willing to concede the second run to try to get the second out.
I can see it with the first one, not the second one.
Fastball upstairs.
Because they're
halfway on the corners.
After the first inning, they haven't been a house of fire either with sticks.
Yeah, halfway with first and third. But it does look like they're playing. Yeah, third base is
up
moved
now.
Yeah, he's moved back. 2 balls, 1 strike, and a curveball that breaks in there.
That's pretty pitch.
Yeah, you got to read it. If you can read it and not have the knees buckle on you, you can sit there and rip that one. Anything waist high on that breaking pitch, you want to get a rip at, but once he buckles your knees, it's hard to recover. And another one that's a knee buckler, but he got a piece of it.
Now, he's got a nice hole on the right side to hit to now if he's able to punch one that way.
Stockwell grounded out to short. Chopper up the middle that
he chops one up the middle. This time he's going to have a run.
Yeah, turned it into 2.
He does that again, it'll be 3-2.
Runner at third, 1 out, and the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Now they challenged him.
Yeah, just reached back, pumped a fastball, an elevated fastball that Stockwell swung right through. So now there's 2 outs, runner still down at third. Homestead's down 3-1, batting here in the bottom of the 4th, but so many opportunities for the Spartans.
And they've got one right here. You would dearly love to at least get that guy in from third.
With 2 outs is Charlie Herr. Herr, a sophomore second baseman. Struck out his only time up.
Yeah, we're getting those 8-9 guys if we can get him on.
Getting close. Herr's hitting in the 7th spot on the Homestead lineup card. The 1-0. Swing and a miss. Challenged him with a fastball.
Now I think he has set him up for the curve.
Tell you, Dean, that right fielder, Cason Purdue, is almost playing on the other ball field. Here's the pitch and another high fastball, swing and a miss. Purdue is back just a couple of steps from the warning track.
He's deeper than the left fielder is.
Yeah.
And the center fielder.
So there, you talk about hitting it, just getting it into right field. There's a lot of real estate to drop it in. Here's the 1-2 pitch and a swing and a miss. Challenged him and he got him swinging, and it strands the runner down at third. But the Spartans do get one across here in the bottom of the 4th. They're on the board. After 4 complete, it is a 3-1 Wapahani lead over the Homestead Spartans. We'll head to the 5th next. It's your high school baseball game of the week, presented by Parkview Sports Medicine and PSM Baseball on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. To the 5th we go. High school baseball, our season debut. Here on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Brett Rump with Dean Pantazi here at the ballpark. Adam Lundy in the studio as our producer. 3-1, Wapahani the lead over the Spartans. And now in the top of the 5th inning, it'll be hitters 9, 1, and 2. Noah Henderson takes a pitch that misses low and away, ball 1. And that's a strike from Mason Gutman, a fastball that catches the outside corner at the knees. Henderson, a strikeout victim, his only time up. That was against Homestead starter Evan Anderson, and went the first 3. And a swing on a miss at a changeup. Couldn't have located that any better. Had a little run away from the hitter and started on the outside corner. And this pitch fouled back into the screen. It stays 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I'd stay outside with him. If you notice, the left foot is flying out toward third base. He's given up half the plate.
Long look by Gutman, the left-hander for the Spartans. Second pitcher of the day, and he brings the 1-2 pitch, and he went inside. Looked like a breaking ball of some sort that got too tight on Henderson, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Defense very shallow in the outfield. The 2-2. And he hit it in the outfield toward the left field line. That will drop, and it's cut off nicely by Karshner. And it is a base hit to left to start things in the 5th for Wapahani by number 9 hitter Noah Henderson.
Kind of wonder how the length of the grass out there in left field, because I think that knocked that down a little bit.
Yeah, it hit the grass and took a very soft hop.
Now at the top of the order.
It wasn't one of those skippers.
No.
Sometimes you see if there's a little dew.
It's back at the wall on that one.
Yeah, but that one hopped up very nicely when it hit the turf.
And he challenged it and got to it very quickly.
Back to the top of the order, Nate Luce, the pitcher, trying to help himself, takes a pitch on the inside corner for a called strike. Wapahani got 3 runs in the first inning. Nothing since. Mason Gutman trying to keep it that way. That pitch fouled back, and it's 0-2. Henderson, the leadoff first. The left-hander goes to the stretch, and Gutman brings the 0-2 pitch. That one almost hit him. Breaking ball way inside. That's one where Luce almost could have taken one for the team there. That was really tight. Ball and 2 strikes, the stretch, the pitch, and he reaches and taps it left side of the infield. Cutting it off, third baseman Schiefel throws to second to get the lead runner, but no relay to first. No chance at a double play.
Really didn't, and he made a nice play to get to that ball to cut it off before it got to the hole. Had that gotten to the hole, that was an infield hit.
So a fielder's choice has Nate Luce aboard at first base, and it brings up Hayden James. James will walk and a run in the first.
Hayden James.
Lined it to the second baseman in the third. A lefty-righty situation with the southpaw Gutman going to the stretch. Check of the runner and the pitch. Just off the outside corner. 1-0. Three runs, top of the first for Wapahani. Homestead just got their first run across, bottom of the 4th. And the runner goes. A high pitch, swung on a miss, throw down to second, and he's safe. Throw a little bit on the third base side of second.
Still made a good try in the dive to get him.
And Luce a stolen base. And questions about interference. I think Ankenbrook, because Ankenbrook kind of had a stutter step before he was through it. And all things considered, Ankenbrook's got such a strong arm. He still got it down there. And Neiswanger with such a great tag, swiping it from behind him and then coming in front of him to try to drop the tag down.
It almost looks like they were looking at an appeal to the second base umpire. I'm not sure how much better of a look he would have had, but...
Yeah, I think the home plate umpire said, no, I saw it all the way, and I can tell you that there was no interference.
Pretty adamant about it.
So Luce a stolen base now in scoring position. It's a 1-1 count and the pitch. A bunt. Drop down and it sits in fair territory. It never went foul. It rolled to the edge of where the dirt at home plate meets the grass and then just sat, and now there's a question. I'm not sure if the question is whether it went off the foot of the batter.
This time the home plate umpire is getting some help. I thought he might have an argument on this foot thing.
The ball just died after he bunted it, and it rolled very slowly toward the edge of the home plate circle and the grass, and then just stopped an inch inside the painted line.
And you will rarely see that because that's usually pretty hard ground right down there, and it will spin.
And it's going to go as a bunt single.
All, 10 feet of it?
Yeah, Nick Byall has tried twice this inning and hasn't won the argument yet.
The catcher, number 5, Quentin James.
It's an 0-2 count on the Homestead coach. Trying.
Nothing ventured.
We got one out with the runners on the corners for Quentin James, and the first pitch swung on a miss, strike one. James working on a perfect day. He's 2 for 2 with a couple of singles.
I wouldn't be surprised if Wapahani sends the runner.
And the pitch is fouled out of play, and that will get Gutman ahead of Quentin James, 0-2.
His lead is halfway decent. If you take a look at it, it's not just one of those 2 or 3 steps.
Well, I'm wondering what kind of move. You've got a left-hander on the mound. You'd think that you wouldn't take too big a lead. It would be huge to pick up the second out of the inning.
And
well, that looked like
Homestead's thinking the same way.
That looked. Did he step off on that, Dean?
He did.
Oh, okay. Stepped off and
but they're looking the same way.
First, yeah.
They think he's leaning too.
The pitch, good off-speed pitch, and a swing and a miss, and that's a big strikeout of Quentin James, and the runners stay put.
Yeah, now the runner third there with 2 out, and remember when you were out on the field, all you'd be screaming, "Play the batter, play the batter."
Yeah. Well, now if he goes, Homestead might just let him have it. That is a huge lead. And the pitch, he just stays put. Throw down to first behind him by the catcher, and that is too high and sliding underneath it.
That's a tough play for a catcher to make. But first you're making sure you secured the pitch, and then you have to make the good throw.
Well, they're pretty confident that this is a lefty that doesn't have a real high-level move. And he'll see again, he just steps back and throws a soft throw to first, and that's going to entice him even more to get a bigger lead.
Now when they do that, you got to watch the runner at third, see if he doesn't try it under the delay.
The stretch, the pitch.
There he goes.
There he goes, and the pitch is fouled left side or right side out of play. That
you got a pitch to waste here. Pitch out.
Yeah, Cubs have a lefty that, or have had a lefty that has had a tendency to not throw to first very often.
It was John Lester.
Yep, and he
did okay.
He did okay, but it's almost the same. I feel like it's almost the same situation. There's a pitch, swung and a miss. Runner with a delayed steal goes to second, and they're going to throw him out for the last out of the inning.
And that's one way you can negate that play. Throw out the runner.
Nice job of limiting. In fact, keeping them off the board. I mean, not only limiting damage, but stopping any damage. You had 3 base runners in the inning, but none of them were able to get across. And after 4.5 here at Homestead, the score remains Wapahani 3 and the Homestead Spartans 1. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th next. This is high school baseball presented by PSM Baseball on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. What a job of pitching out of trouble in the top half of the inning by Homestead's Mason Gutman. And now you go to the bottom of the 5th inning with hitters 8, 9, and 1, or the Dean Pantazi part of the order, as it's Braylon Sheefold that will lead it off. He had a single his first time up.
And it was a good hit.
First pitch swung on a miss, 0-1. Here comes the 0-1 offering. That stays upstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wapahani trying to make 3 top of the first inning runs stand up. Curveball catches the inside corner, taken for a strike. 1-2 for the Spartans' third baseman. Sheefold, a senior, 6'1" infielder, and he chops it to second. Scooped up by Henderson, a short throw to first, and that retires Sheefold for the first out here in the bottom of the 5th. Play goes 4-3, and it brings up number 9 hitter Will Karshner.
Left fielder number 9, Will.
Hit a rope into left field for a base hit back in the 3rd. Boy, a lot of base runners for the Spartans, considering they've only got 1 run on the board. They scored that last inning. First pitch to Karshner, and it's taken for a ball up high.
A lot of the credit goes to Luce. I think he's pitched a nice game.
Dropped in a curveball on the 1-0, and that's a strike that evens the count 1-1.
When he's had to make a good pitch, he's made it.
He is now in the neighborhood of 63, 64 pitches. He misses on a curveball high and inside. And
they're warming somebody up, though.
Yep, got somebody getting ready to come in. And, of course, everything's the pitch count in high school baseball. The 2-1. Curveball ripped, but it is going to hook foul wide of the left field line. Boy, he jumped on that pitch.
Got on it a little early. Now, if you notice, watch where the left fielder is playing him. He's shading him that way.
Yeah, all of a sudden now he shades him. But
even more.
But if you come back, throw him a fastball, who knows? He's hugging the line. Here's the pitch, and that ball's ripped into left. That's going to drop in front of Acosta for a base hit for the second time. Karshner aboard with a sharp single out to left field.
Well, it would have really been nice if he'd have been able to run that up the alley because he'd won 2 or 3.
Yeah. How about Karshner? He's now 4 for 6 on the season so far, off to a great start.
Not thinking he'll be batting ninth very long.
Well, you never know, because sometimes coaches like to put a guy there that kind of helps to get
set things up.
Yeah, gets an extra leadoff man in some ways. It continues the order. You get a guy like that bats with 2 outs, and he can get to the top. Karshner aboard, and the first pitch is up high to leadoff man Shane Bardwell, who's hitless in 2 trips.
You see that a lot with lineups that use the DH, and Homestead is using that today to set the table up with the 9 guy.
Karshner the lead, the stretch, and the 1-0, and that is inside, and there goes the ball, gets away from the catcher, heading down to second base is Karshner, and he slides in ahead of the throw.
Alert coaching and alert base running. That pitch didn't get that far away, but he took off and said, I'm going.
And I think that looked more like a pass ball. I don't know that hit the dirt. 2-0 now on Bardwell.
But another runner might have stood there and been a little more conservative, and he wasn't that way.
Homestead down by 2, batting in the bottom of the 5th inning. The pitch, that's outside, 3-0.
He might be about a pitcher or 2 away from exiting this game now.
Well, and for that reason, I think Bardwell might take, if not 1, he might take 2 strikes. Make him run up the pitch count. Try to bring a new guy in for the meat of the Homestead order. Here's the 3-0, taking all the way, and that's in for a strike.
Apparently somebody else was thinking the way you were.
Yeah, he just got a laid one in there. 3 balls, 1 strike. This will be the interesting one to see what he does here. If anything, should be really selective. The 3-1. And he ripped at it, fouled it straight back and over the screen.
Didn't get it the way he wanted.
No, but I think he got the pitch he wanted.
Yeah, he did. Sometimes that just doesn't hit the bad way you want it to hit. Like a lot.
Got to get those torpedo bats.
You can afford 250 or 300 apiece.
The payoff pitch, curved into the dirt. Tried to sneak a breaking ball in on Bardwell on the 3-2 and dropped it low.
Let's see if they make a change now.
It's going to be a tough decision. Luce has been really good today, but you've got...
he's in the 70 pitch range
Yeah,
now.
You've got the 3rd time through the order, and you've got hitters 2, 3, and 4 now coming up. 2 aboard, 1 out, bottom of the 5th.
And a good hitter in Ankenbrook.
Yeah. It's Karshner at second, Bardwell at first.
Now, he's got the ability to run one up that alley.
Johnny Ankenbrook. They'll again lift that high step and look to second, but that time nobody covering. No throw.
I've seen the throw be made.
They're just trying to keep him close, I think. Just limit the lead. Here's the pitch, and it is popped in the air, but foul ground.
Got under it. And he too.
Yeah, he took a big rip.
He says, that was a pitch. That was one I wanted.
Not much breeze right now. Any breeze that is measurable, especially in some of the higher altitudes for a high fly ball, might hurt balls hit to left, but this is a guy that's strong enough to hit it through that breeze. It could help a ball to right. It's kind of a crosswind right now. The 0-1, big swing and a miss at a fastball upstairs.
They must really think Homestead's hitters are really powerful hitters to right field. Look where he is. He's almost a 24.
He sees that flag too. He's like, I'm not taking a chance. I'm I know if I turn around and reach, I might be able to touch the wall. So 0-2 on Ankenbrook. Spartans with a runner at first and second. They're down 3-1, batting bottom of the fifth. The stretch by Luce and the pitch. And again, that's upstairs. Ankenbrook lays off it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now you got to think about the curveball, because he's been going high heat.
And Johnny Ankenbrook is a disciplined enough hitter that he can be decisive about it.
Big gap out in left center. The stretch, check of the runner at second, and the 1-2. And he went with a breaking ball, and that is hit hard to left field. It is deep, and it is off the wall in the gap. It's going to score the tying runs. And heading around second to third is Ankenbrook. He got a hanger. He saw it coming, and Ankenbrook delivers a 2-run triple. And the Spartans have tied it up in the bottom of the fifth.
That's just a good hitter. I mean, you knew if they were going to make a mistake, that's what he was going to do with it.
And they made that mistake, kind of hung a curveball.
First baseman number 3.
And I think Ankenbrook probably, as a catcher especially, he has that thought process, look, they're setting me up, and eventually I'm going to get that curveball, and I'm not going to miss it when I get it. And he hit that ball hard in the gap.
And you're right. The wind has kicked up just a little bit now, and the change is being made at the mound. Another day, that's a 3-run homer.
Yeah, that ball was tattooed to left center. But the Spartans have a new ball game. They got a run in the fourth. They added 2 more here in the fifth, and they've got the go-ahead run 90 feet away and a trip to the mound. And I'm not sure if they're making the change. I think they're keeping
what they're going to do with Ankenbrook at third base.
I think they are keeping Luce in here to face Cole Kintz.
Partially to talk about how they're going to deal with him, but also a lot, what is their discipline with him and only 1 out?
Yeah, and explain to me why the middle infield is back. We're in the bottom of the fifth inning.
Okay, I can't.
Tie ball game. I'll give you time. Here's the pitch to Kintz, and he lifts it deep in the air. That ball's got a chance at the warning track. Acosta, he'll make the catch, tagging at third and trotting in easily is Ankenbrook, and the Spartans take the lead.
There's another one on another day that is a 2-run homer.
Yeah. A deep sacrifice fly for Cole Kintz. Did his job, and the Spartans now with 3 runs across bottom of the fifth take the advantage 4-3.
Stepping into the batter's box, shortstop number 2, Luke Nicesonger.
Yeah, that no question the Spartans were going to have the lead. The question, would it be a 1-run lead or a 2-run lead? Because that was right at the warning track. And the first pitch, a breaking ball that just catches the inside corner to Nicesonger. 1 for 2, had a double his last time up. And he takes a big hack, comes off the bat in the air on the right side over toward the dugout and out of play.
Now you know, hindsight is 20/20, but you wonder if Heath Dudley wouldn't have it to do it over again on keeping his pitcher in there as long as he did, because the last 2 guys have hit the ball hard.
Yeah. Well, it's just a game of inches. You know, it's one of those things where the breaking ball just stayed up in the zone, and Ankenbrook and Kintz just both jumped on it. This pitch fouled right straight back into the fencing behind home plate.
And he had a good look at that, too.
Beautiful ballpark. If you haven't been to the Homestead Baseball field, playing their 3rd season here across the street from the high school. The 0-2 stays high, ball 1.
Directly across the street from where the old field was.
Yeah.
And the place where the old field was is now the newer softball field.
Well, and one field became 2 in the move across the street. There's a breaking ball that's way outside, and it gets past the catcher. So heading down to first base is Nicesonger, and he's going to be there without a play. Ball got past the catcher, so Nicesonger on strike 3 takes off. And, you know, don't even get me started on what I think about that rule, Dean. As a pitcher, you make a great pitch where you get a batter to swing at a pitch that's 1.5 feet outside, and he ends up on first base.
Now batting for Homestead, number 7, Zane Wurgis.
But the inning continues for Zane Wurgis. Still only one out.
Now's the time for Homestead to make that hurt.
Breaking ball, and that one breaks off the outside corner. Ball one. Wurgis with a single in the second. Grounded out to first base back in the fourth. We are in the bottom of the third inning. 3 runs across for the Spartans, and they flipped the score. Wapahani had 3 in the top of the first. They led it 3-0 up until the bottom of the fourth inning. Homestead got 1 run in.
That was his 84th pitch.
And now you've got 3 across here in the fifth. So Homestead with a 4-3 lead. The stretch by Luce. The runner goes. The pitch is taken. Throw down to second. It skips, and it goes into center field. Unfortunately, Nysonger was flat on his belly and couldn't get up to take advantage.
Well,
but he does have the stolen base.
I think the shortstop was on him for a little bit, too.
Stolen base for Nysonger.
Now, that's 85, and I think there's not a limit where they pulled him out, I don't think, but it's getting to the point where you don't want to keep him in there much longer.
This is the first game of 2 today, and once again, we'll be breaking away from this game to make sure we get to TINCAPS baseball. They got a 1:05 start in Dayton.
I hope it's as nice there as it is here. This is a great day to play.
I believe it is. I think the Midwest is being graced with some nice weather.
The East Coast is not.
Here's the pitch, and that's fouled back.
I was looking at the forecast last night for the East Coast. Snow.
Ooh.
30s, high 20s, ice concerns. Better them than us.
Yeah, we used to call that spring in the Midwest, but I guess right now it's spring in the East. 2 balls, 1 strike. Wurgis waits. Luce lifts the leg, turns to second. Nobody covering, and Nysonger wasn't that far off the bag. The stretch and the 2-1 pitch. Swing at a ball that was probably outside, and it evens the count up 2-2.
No, probably was being generous.
Left fielder Grayson Acosta cheating toward the line. Center fielder Brock Zickraft straight away.
And the right fielder playing an ASEAN.
That pitch is high, and it's a full count now.
He may only be as deep as Waynedale. I'm overstating.
Well, we said that one ballpark became 2 when they moved across the street because the JV is playing on a field just outside that right field wall. Twin fields here at Homestead. Here's the pitch on the payoff, and it's a curveball in the hole between short and third into left field. Rounding third base, heading toward the plate. Nysonger, he's going to come in to score, and heading to second on the throw home is Wurgis, and the Spartans extend their lead to 5-3.
I think they may have gone a little too long for this young man out on the floor, but that might have been 2 or 3 batters ago.
And still no sign of anybody popping out of the dugout. I don't know how far they, this is early. That's the other thing.
The other consideration is you have to keep in mind that the relief pitcher might be one of those 8 guys out in the field. So that's why you may not be seeing anything in the bullpen right now.
Here's the pitch, and that's fouled back. Going back to that last hit, it was the hard grounder that went in the hole between short and third, but we've been talking about it. When Homestead gets runners on second, that shortstop cheats over there to almost cover the bag on that leg lift.
He's playing the old softball short center.
Yeah, and so it leaves that huge hole, and Wurgis took advantage of it.
And he's not the first that's done that.
Gray Stockwell, the batter. After fouling off the first pitch, it's 0-1, and the pitch is a curveball that stays high and inside. The other thing you see in a tired arm is the curveball loses a little bit of its bite. Again, the shortstop way over towards second base. With the runner at second, Wurgis taking his lead, and again they'll lift and turn and throw to second. Diving back to the bag is Wurgis. ahead of the tag.
You know, it begins to appear that is a part of their planned defense with any runner on second base, because he's shaded there all the time.
The 1-1. Curved ball and a swing and a miss. That was a good sharp breaker. It started hanging over the plate and then just broke outside quickly and got Stockwell to commit.
You know, when the shortstop plays that far over, you try to recover, but you still don't recover enough to get into position. And the hole is still there.
Loose goes to the stretch and the 1-2 pitch. A hanger that stays high and inside. Stockwell with a ground out on a double play ball back in the second. Struck out in the fourth. It's 0 for 2, looking for his first hit. Came into today 1 for 3 on the season. The 2-2, and they'll pick it up and look to second again.
One way or the other, I got to think this is Luz's last batter.
The stretch, and again, he lifts the leg and looks to second base. Doesn't make a throw. It's back-to-back where he couldn't even make a throw, but what he does again, gets that shortstop thinking covering second, and he gets that monster gap in the infield. That one hit hard the opposite way toward the dugout foul on the first base side.
Nice crooked number here for Homestead after having had a lot of opportunities earlier in the game to put up a crooked number and not being able to do it.
2 outs, runner at second. Homestead with 4 across here in the bottom of the 5th inning. A game scheduled to go 7. They lead it 5-3. Nate Luce has gone the distance for Wapahani on the mound, and he delivers the 2-2. And again, that is fouled out of play on the right field side. Count holds 2-2.
You know, his fatigue out there on the mound seems to be taking off some of the speed on his pitches, and the Homestead players are able to time it a little better.
The 2-2. Curveball breaks down and away. Counts full now for Gray Stockwell. Had to ask when I saw the name Gray on the lineup card. I said, is that a typo or is it Gray, not Gary? It is Gray.
Legitimate question.
I've seen a typo or two over the years.
Yes, sir.
Fair to ask. Here's the payoff pitch, and it misses outside. It's a 2-out walk.
All right, I really can't see why he's kept out there much longer.
No, he's got to be.
See, this game is
well
still
into the 90s.
This is still doable. 2-run lead is still not.
Well, with Wapahani's an offensive team. You know, they've scored 26 runs in their first 2 games, Dean. So this is a team that can erupt for offense. But the other thing too is I don't know Wapahani's schedule coming into this or going. I don't know when they played those first 2 games. I forgot what day they played them, but. You know, for Homestead, they're coming back Monday against Fishers, a game that was rescheduled, and there's a number of games that have been rescheduled. Wapahani might have a full slate coming up, and they're concerned about how many arms they have to burn through. But remember, there's another game today.
But you see my point. This is still doable with a 2-run deficit.
Oh, absolutely.
So you don't want it to get too much further if you're Wapahani.
But with 2 outs, I think they're just trusting that he can get through this. Because Charlie Herr has struck out twice, and now they've got a pinch hitter. So Herr won't be the batter. They're going to go to Sheldon Heffelmeyer. Heffelmeyer's a good stick, too, coming off the bench. He was getting the first game off, but he's going to come in this situation with 2 outs, 2 on, a 2-run lead, and the first pitch from Luce is a little low, 1-0. So it's Heffelmeyer at the plate batting for Herr. The 1-0. Fastball at the knees, called strike. 1-1. You've got Zane Wurgis taking the lead at second. Gray Stockwell off of first. 2 outs, bottom of the 5th. The 1-1 to Heffelmeyer. That's low, 2-1.
You know, the batting sample for Heffelmeyer this year so far isn't big, but he's 2 for 3.
Yeah, Heffelmeyer, 6'1", solidly built junior, listed as a first baseman on the roster. Another leg lift and turn to second. They still can't get an out there because
he sure has the height for a first baseman, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a big guy. The pitch, outside, 3-1. Now with the shortstop cheating toward second base, you got a left-hander at the plate. Maybe not as critical a situation, but that hole is even bigger on the left side of the infield. The 3-1. Looked like he was taking all the way, and a fastball is in there for a strike. Wapahani scored 3 in the top of the first. Spartans quiet through the first 3 innings, but they got one crossed in the fourth, and it's led to a 4-run fifth as they still bat. This is the 9th hitter of the inning. And that time they got him leaning at second, but the throw not in time. First time it actually got Wurgis taking a step toward third before he put on the brakes and came back and dove into second on that leg lift and pickoff try.
He's made better throws on previous plays like that would have gotten that runner.
Payoff pitch. Runners get a head start, and he just reaches out and flicks it foul. Just protecting that outside corner. Didn't try to do anything with that ball other than just get a piece of it.
Look at the hole he has to hit the left center right now.
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
He could ride one over the shortstop's head. That's 2 runs.
The stretch, runners will be on the move with the 3-2 pitch, and that is high and outside. It never had a chance, and the bases are loaded.
I believe we're about to make a change, Brett.
Yep, I think it's finally come time that we've got a pitching change for Wapahani. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and it looks like this might be our last inning of the broadcast. We might try to get through this bottom of the 5th, but then we'll have to wrap it up. But let's go ahead because we'll have to catch up on some commercials. So let's go ahead and take a break while they warm up the new pitcher as Wapahani brings in Kyle Anderson, a big sophomore left-hander. We'll talk about it next. It is the high school baseball game of the week presented by PSM Baseball on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Big thanks to our sponsors that are bringing you high school baseball on Saturdays, including PSM Baseball, where MLB experience meets the next future stars. Also, big thanks to Midwest Box Breaks and Old Fort Baseball Company.
The game's over. You can see them in the handshake line down beyond the right field line. This one's got a ways to go.
Well, this one, if we didn't have a 30-minute inning, it would have been pretty close to being over. But this Homestead at bat in the bottom of the 5th, they've batted through the order. And it's the 10th hitter of the inning, where the inning got started with Braylon Schieffel stepping up. And the new pitcher is Kyle Anderson for Wapahani. Evan Anderson was the starter for Homestead on the mound. He went the first 3 innings, and then we saw Mason Gutman, who entered. First pitch down and outside, ball 1. Spartans with 4 runs across, and they have the bases loaded, a chance to blow this one open. They lead it 5-3, bottom of the 5th. The stretch, and the big lefty brings it, and it's lined to right field, a 2-out hit. 1 run is in. The second run rounds third. He's coming home. He'll score without a play. Heading first to third is Heffelmeyer, and a 2-out, 2 RBI hit for Braylon Schieffel. Hitting in the 8th spot, Dean. I know you love that part of the order, but a huge hit that knocks in a couple, and Homestead now leads at 7-3, a 6th spot here in the bottom of the fifth.
He just went with the pitch. I mean, he just rode it out there, and they've been dialed in this entire inning. First against the starter, and now the reliever. Homestead's been dialed in this whole inning.
Now batting for Homestead, left fielder number 9, Will Karshner.
And this is the guy that started it all.
Karshner is stepping in now with 2 outs, runners on the corners, and the pitch is a fastball for a strike. You've got Heffelmeyer at third, Schieffel, who is being pinch run for at first. Don't see the number of who's pinch running, but they've got a pinch runner that came in. I think it might be Luke Reha. Is that what they I'm trying to hear if they've got the number of the person off at first. But so it is Reha at first. Curveball catches the outside corner.
Pitch runner for Homestead is number 23, Luke Reed.
Karshner's a little mad at himself because he walked off and just shook his head. He says, that one I should have ridden out to right field as well.
Anderson is ahead of Karshner 0-2. The pitch in the dirt. A late break. Reha's going to try to get to second, and the second baseman cuts it off.
Well, if he let it go through, the runner would have scored. Because I think it was skipping. It would have gone more to the third base side of second base and might have gotten back into center field. So he made the right play.
So the runner advances on the wild pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runners at second and third. 2 outs. Homestead up 7-3. Anderson, the left-hander, to the stretch and the pitch. And that is ripped and fouled on the left field line.
Tell me what batter you've seen of the last 6 that hasn't had it dialed in.
Well, Karshner's had it dialed in all day.
Oh, that's true. But in this inning, the last 6 or 7 guys have really been on the ball.
Hitting can be contagious. The lack of it was contagious through the first 3 innings for Homestead.
And contagious in a bad way.
The 1-2. And that's outside for ball 2. Yeah, Karshner's 2 for 2 on the day. And he's hit the ball hard both times. Now 4 for 6 on the season.
Not to be the 8th or 9th hitter for long, if this keeps up.
The stretch, the 2-2. Down and in. Another full count. And we will be wrapping up the broadcast at the end of this inning so that we can get you to the pregame show for TINCAPS Baseball. They're in Dayton. Nice win last night, 5-1 for the TINCAPS. Here comes the pitch, and that's outside. Looked like he threw a changeup away, and it just stayed off the plate. That was one Wapahani wanted the call, but the pitch was clearly a couple of inches outside, and so now the bases are full. Back to the top of the order. Trying to do some quick math with Shane Bardwell stepping in. Homestead, I believe, has 4 hits this inning, but they've also walked 3 times. And the first pitch is fouled out of play. 0-1 on Bardwell. Walked and scored earlier in this inning. It's 0 for 2. Stretch, pitch, swing and a miss. Lefty-lefty matchup here with the southpaw Anderson. Second pitcher of the day for Wapahani. He's ahead 0-2, and Bardwell will take time at the plate. Stretch. The 0-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Fooled him with a fastball and caught him looking. It's a big inning for the Spartans. as they get 6 runs across, and they lead at 7-3 over Wapahani. Well, it was pitcher's duel there for a long time. Wapahani 3 runs top of the first, Dean, but Homestead took some time getting the offense in gear, but once they got the switch flipped, it was an impressive 5th inning for the Spartans.
I thought the key thing in this thing was the length of time that Wapahani left the starter Nate Luce in, because after the first 2 or 3 hitters of that big 5th inning, it was obvious to me. Maybe I'm the only one that saw it, but he was cooked. And yet he stayed in there for 3 or 4 more batters. Most of them, if not all of them, got on base, and a lot of those guys scored. That's where this flipped.
Well, they've still got to finish a couple of innings here. And just to give you a heads up, we've got to get to TINCAPS baseball. Mason Gutman is back out there. Had a long rest. It'll be interesting to see how things go here in the 6th. I will tweet you the final score when we have it here at Homestead. But right now, through 5 complete, it is a 7-3 Homestead lead over the Wapahani Raiders. We thank you for joining us for today's broadcast. Big thanks to PSM Baseball, Midwest Box Breaks, and Old Fort Baseball Company. Big thanks to Adam Lundy back in the studio, and a special thanks to Dean Pantazi for coming out. Really appreciate it, Dino.
It was fun, Brett.
And, of course, we'll be back next week with another edition of our high school baseball game of the week. But for now, I am Brett Rump. Thanks for listening to today's high school baseball game of the week, presented by PSM Baseball on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.